Alright, so before we talk about the Super Bowl halftime show, we need to talk about these end zones. NFL, what the hell is this? The Bengals have the best end zones in the league. You didn't even have to touch them. But if you were going to change it, this was the best you could come up with? Black end zone with white letters? You could have at least made the letters orange. One of my favorite parts about the Super Bowl is seeing the cool, colorful end zones that you come up with for the teams. It's part of what makes it fun for me. I'm basically a 5-year-old child. Give me exciting action and pretty colors, and I'll be sufficiently entertained. All throughout the game, I had to look deep within myself to figure out which I hated more, the Rams' uniforms or that end zone. Ultimately, I decided that the Rams' uniforms are still worse because at least with that end zone, I don't ever have to look at it again. The Rams' uniforms, I'm just kind of stuck with for an indefinite period of time until someone in Rams' upper management finally comes to their senses and realize that it looks like IKEA decided to start a football league. But you still owe a groveling apology to the city of Cincinnati for that utterly disrespectful and pathetic excuse for a Super Bowl end zone. Shame on you! So Super Bowl 56 was this past weekend. Best Buy beat Home Depot by a score of 23-20, and so ends the 2021 NFL season. And it was one of the most memorable seasons in recent memory, in my opinion. So many exciting games, even before we got to the playoffs, and then things just hit the fan. It was insane. I got more content planned in the future, going more into the game itself, but for today, this video is going to be for the non-football fans, the people who only watch the Super Bowl for the commercials and the halftime show.
It's the one and only D.R.E.
Dr. Dre, you little busters.
Now, when they announced the performers of the halftime show, I was very excited. I am a huge fan of hip-hop. This lineup is basically a who's who of both the past and present of West Coast hip-hop, and listening to Dre and Snoop Dogg in the media leading up to the big game, the show was being built up as something genuinely groundbreaking for hip-hop. Then they announced Eminem and Kendrick Lamar were going to be co-starring, and I was completely on board. But did it live up to the hype, is the real question. It's definitely the best halftime show I've seen in recent memory, so let's get into it. Things got off to a hot start as Dre and Snoop Dogg kick things off with the next episode, and Snoop Dogg gives a great performance of his verse on this song. And then it goes right into California Love, which you had to know that was going to be on there. You just had to have it being in Los Angeles. Dre does an amazing job on this one too, but Snoop Dogg again, he does a great job here in the background, just pumping up the crowd, ad-libbing, having a grand old time. I really think Snoop Dogg was the MVP of this show, I really do. So the first two songs get things started, and it is a very fun and vibrant party energy that the show has up to this point. It's a great way to open up the performance, but now it's time to ruin it. So 50 Cent shows up just hanging upside down for some reason. And then he goes into Club, aka It's Your Birthday. And yeah, this part isn't very good. Even putting aside the embarrassing spectacle of him just being upside down for no real reason, 50 Cent just isn't naturally a very high-energy performer. He just doesn't have that kind of personality. He's a lot more reserved and laid back in his songs. So when he comes in right after Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre get the crowd all pumped up in the opening tracks, 50 Cent comes in, and this just kind of feels like the momentum is dead. But oh boy, is he getting clowned on social media. You want to see the people dunking on him right now? 50 Cent waiting for his turn at the halftime show, and then it's Spider-Man hanging upside down. Hang on, there's more. Dr. Dre plays piano, Snoop Dogg drives car, 50 Cent upside down in the office. I think this is an Office meme. I don't know what character that is, though. 50 Cent looking more like 75 cents these days. Amazing. I feel bad laughing at this one, but this is funny. Amazing what inflation did to 50 Cent. Oh, that one's mean. I'm sorry. Can we get a hologram of Tupac? Best we can do is an upside down 50 Cent. Speaking of the Tupac hologram, though, there was actual speculation that they would do a hologram of Tupac in this show, which I didn't really believe, just to be honest, but when you lead into the surprise guest song with a song that featured Tupac when he was alive, and then you toed out Upside Down 50 Cent, yeah, that's going to be a bit of a letdown. People wanted Tupac, you gave them 50 Cent. That is not an equal value. Anyways, after 50 Cent does his thing, Mary J. Blige comes in and gets things back on track. Her first song I thought was kind of meh, but the second song she did was really beautiful. She sang with such power and authority there. I'll admit I'm not that familiar with Mary J. Blige as an artist, but I'm definitely going to have to look more into her at this point, because that performance was really something. But then that leads into the man, the myth, the legend, Kendrick Lamar himself. And Kendrick opens up his set with the hook of Mad City from his Good Kid, Mad City album, which I have to admit, I wish he would have rapped the verse to the song too, because that song is just such a banger. That would have absolutely blown the roof off the place, I think. But he probably just didn't have the time to do more than 1.5 songs, so I guess that's understandable. Instead, though, he devoted the remainder of his time to rapping Be Alright from To Pimp a Butterfly, which is a more socially poignant song, I think, than Mad City, so I can respect that. Either way, Kendrick Lamar absolutely killed it. I wasn't expecting any less, but oh man, was he awesome. And I also thought this was the best segment of the show, just from a visual standpoint. There was some cool and creative camera movement being incorporated, and they utilized that steady cam that the NFL uses for, like, end zone and touchdown celebrations and stuff like that. I actually kind of wish that they had employed that kind of camera work more throughout the show, because it was really interesting and pleasing to look at when they did use it, but they only really used it for Kendrick's performance and for like one small section of the opening performance when Snoop Dogg was doing his thing. But Kendrick does his thing, and at this point the crowd is absolutely wired, and then Eminem comes out as the de facto main event.
Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish and motherfuckers acting forgot about you.
When Eminem comes out, the place erupts. It just kind of goes into like this acapella, like what's it called, record scratch thing that kind of characterized old school Eminem's music. And he gives just a fantastic performance of Lose Yourself. Honestly, I couldn't have thought of a better song for him to perform at the Super Bowl than this. And I don't think it's any coincidence that the very first play of the second half after this show was a 75-yard touchdown bomb for the Bengals. This is probably the most engaged and most energized I've heard Eminem sound in a while. The last couple albums he's released, he sounds like he's just kind of been mailing it in, but not here. Here, Eminem actually sounds like he wants to be there, and he is giving it his all on every bar. Everyone involved looked like they just wanted to be there and like they were having the time of their lives. Even 50 Cent, who felt like kind of a buzzkill for his section, he still felt like he was giving his 100%. It's just that his version of 100% is everyone else's, well, 50%. The other thing I was kind of surprised by too is the relative lack of social commentary in this show. It would have been easy to have added in a heavy-handed political message, especially for a genre that is historically known for its inflammatory rhetoric. I mean, hell, Dr. Dre literally produced a song called Fuck the Police. I mean, Eminem took a knee in the middle of his set while Dre was kind of doing his piano thing, which that was really cool. But for the most part, this show wasn't out to send a message. It was out to just celebrate the legacy of West Coast hip-hop and showcase some of its brightest stars, both past and present. And you could tell that having that opportunity to present hip-hop music to a worldwide audience meant the world to these guys. It showed in their performance. You could tell as they were standing on the stage at the end here that they were just soaking it in, knowing that they were taking part in a watershed moment for the Super Bowl halftime show, which frankly I thought was long overdue. This show really felt like it knew what the audience wanted. There was no segment of this show that felt unnecessary, nor were there any wasted songs or performances. Normally I would end this video by trying to prescribe some level of altruistic significance to this particular moment, and it's certainly not an insignificant moment for hip-hop or its longtime fans. It is the first all-rap halftime show in Super Bowl history, unless you count the Black Eyed Peas as all-rap. But I'm not going to do that this time around. This time I'm just going to do what the performers did and let the artistic merit of their performance speak for itself, and just applaud the accomplishments of these artists which built the legacy of hip-hop music and culminated into this moment that we witnessed on Sunday. This halftime show was really, really good, and there was a little bit of something for everybody. If you're an old school hip-hop fan, you'll love the classic hits from Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem. If you're a younger fan like myself, then you'll absolutely love the electrifying performance of Kendrick Lamar. Ultimately, this was just a show for the fans. It knew what the people wanted, and it gave it to them. And after the last however many halftime shows where there was a very clear agenda that was just trying to beat you over the head with, it was nice to just sit back for a change and enjoy just a really entertaining show from some of the West Coast's most talented MCs.
And I still got love for the streets. It's the DRE.
So yeah, that was the Super Bowl halftime show, and I really do appreciate you guys for listening to my thoughts. If you'd like to like and subscribe, I'd be very grateful for that. And as always, I will see you in the next video. And as always, you have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next video. Man, I really gotta get that door fixed.
Arrgh! Who'll be the captain on this ship? Ahoy.